I want to share another one of my favorite passages from the Bible with you. This is one of the verses that has made me into the man that I am today. And this one comes out of 1 Thessalonians chapter 4. And it's going to be verses 11 and 12. But before we get to that, you need to know that in verse 9, Paul is talking about brotherly love. And he tells them, you don't need me to write you because you yourselves are taught by God to love one another. That's one of the things Jesus said is the two most important. Love God and love one another. So he goes, you already know that. But then down in verse 11, he says, but we encourage you, brothers and sisters, to do this even more. Seek to live a quiet life, to mind your own business and to work with your own hands as we commanded you, so that you may behave properly in the presence of outsiders and not be dependent on anyone. And that is the man that I have worked very hard to turn myself into. First of all, live a quiet life. Just mind your own business, deal with your own life. And that's something that with social media, it's very hard to do because everybody's lives are out there. You're comparing yourself to everybody's highlight reel. And that's where a lot of depression and anxiety comes from. But follow this verse. Just lead a quiet life. Just mind your own business. And the next one, work with your hands. And it's something I heard a pastor say once, that this society, this generation is working really hard to not have to work. That's something that we think we need to get to, is we need to get to a place where we shouldn't have to work anymore, passive income and all that. If you go back and read Genesis, before there was sin, there was work. God gave Adam work to do, to tend the garden, to name the animals. There was work before there was sin. So work isn't something that we're not supposed to do. We're actually created for work. And actually Ephesians chapter 2, verse 10 says we were created for good works. So that's one of the first things we're supposed to do, is not work ourselves out of a job, but we are to work, not just do work, but with your hands. I'm a tradesman. I've been in trades for the last 15 years. There's something about making something with your own hands, that sense of accomplishment, that sense of, I built this. You can't beat that. But he says to work with your hands. And then he says, behave properly in the presence of outsiders, obviously. I'm going to do another video later on about 1 Corinthians chapter 5, where he talks about how Christians are to judge each other, hold each other accountable, because we are being looked at by outsiders. The worst thing you can do as a Christian is live a life where the outsiders can't tell the difference between you and them. We're supposed to be the light of the world, but that's a whole different video. But behave properly in the presence of outsiders. And the last one's hard for this day and age, is do not be dependent on anyone. And yes, I know the economy, and yes, I know the situation of the world and minimum wage and all that. I understand that. But that's the goal. The goal is to not be dependent on anyone. And I think in the last 20, 30 years, our government's done a really good job of creating a dependent society where we now look to them for food and for rations and for housing. And that's what they want. They want that. Yes, I know times are hard, and it is getting harder to not be dependent on anyone. But that's the goal. If you do all of the first things, if you lead a quiet life, if you mind your own business and keep your nose down, keep your nose on your work, focus on you. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing on social media and what their lives look like and what they have, and keep up with the Joneses and all of that crap. Just mind your own business. Just keep your nose down. Work with your hands. Behave properly in the presence of outsiders, and try as hard as you can to be independent so that you don't have to depend on anyone else. Those two verses alone have shaped me into the man that I am today, and I hope it helped you.